Welcome to Glorious Botafogo, your number one source of Botafogo news in English. Today was a good day for Botafogo. Not only did the club beat Bahia at home 2-1, up a man after the Bahia striker or forward Sanabria, I believe is his name, got a second yellow card due to simulating a penalty. He got sent off. Botafogo basically cruised the rest of the match, although Bahia did have some pretty dangerous plays, especially from set pieces, which is Botafogo is one of the worst teams in the Brasileirão, actually, when it comes to defending set pieces. This was a direct match in the G6 of the Brasileirão. The first 6 teams on the table get to go to the Libertadores. You guys can see here. Let me just pull this up real quick. There we go. The G6 right now is Flamengo, Palmeiras, Cruzeiro, Botafogo, Mirassol, and Bahia. So this was a very important match. If Botafogo had lost this match, Bahia would have been in 4th and Botafogo in 6th. We're getting further and further away from these teams are here. As you can see, Fluminense, São Paulo, Bragantino, and Grêmio are the closest ones to Bahia, but they're 35 points. They're, less than the more than 5 points away. So it starts to create a separation with Botafogo and Mirassol still trying to kind of see if they can catch up to these teams on top, but it's starting to funnel. That is for sure. It is starting to funnel down, although there's 12 matches until the end of the tournament. Flamengo with 2 less matches than the rest of the group here. So they are sitting pretty here on the table looking for a Libertadores, looking for a Brasileirão title, but followed closely by Palmeiras, which right now Palmeiras beat Vasco today 3-0. So I can show you guys here. Mineiro tied with Juventude, so Botafogo just beat here. And then tomorrow, Flamengo and Cruzeiro. That's going to be a good match. Flamengo and Cruzeiro, that's going to be a good match. Hopefully Cruzeiro can win to stop Flamengo in its tracks. Give the teams underneath a chance to try. You never know. You never know. But Flamengo, Palmeiras, and Cruzeiro are very consistent, and I think it's going to be neck and neck, and it's up to Botafogo and Mirassol to do what they can to try to get up there. But I think the fight here for Botafogo is going to be trying to keep this 4th place in the G4, which is what John Texter said. Every year we're going to try to be in the top 4. So this is Botafogo trying. We were champions last year. I don't think there's a chance this year. And this is all there's left for us because there are big changes coming to the calendar year, 2026 calendar year in Brazil. CBF today, not only did CBF reveal the names for the upcoming international window with, by the way, Igor Jesus and Luis Henrique are back in the seleção. And Ancelotti said in the press conference that having players like Igor Jesus with the characteristics of Igor Jesus in the World Cup is necessary. So I think Igor Jesus is solidifying his name in the list that's going to be the list for the World Cup. And I think unless something major happens, like an injury, I think Igor Jesus will get called for Brazil in the World Cup, which is absolutely amazing. And I think also Luis Henrique will be called to be in the World Cup. And I think it will be Estevão, Luis Henrique, and Rodrigo for right wingers. It's very, very nice to see those 2 players being called and recognized by Ancelotti. Now, the changes to the calendar year also changed the rules of some of the competitions. So now every single team in the Brasileirão, every single one, no exceptions. If you are in the Série A of the Brasileirão, you are automatically in the Copa do Brasil, which has taken a multitude of weight off of Botafogo's back, off of Davide Ancelotti, and off of John Textor's back. They were literally saved by this by this change, because in order for Botafogo to make it to Copa do Brasil in 2026, we had to qualify for the Libertadores. If we did not qualify for the Libertadores, we were not going to play the Copa do Brasil or the Libertadores. Having only the Brasileirão and the Carioca in 2026 would have been a disaster, a complete disaster. However, with this change, Botafogo is automatically qualified for the 2026 Copa do Brasil. So now, yes, we still have to try to qualify for the Libertadores, but it's a weight off. And I think also there is going to be no more pre-Libertadores. So Brazil is going to lose a pre-Libertadores spot and gain an automatic spot. So I think the first 5, the G6 is going to become a G5. And the first 5 teams in the Brasileirão will go straight into the Libertadores group stage, which it will be crazy to see Mirassol in that select group of teams to make it to the Libertadores. But there is a new cup, a brand new cup in Brazil that is called the Copa Sul Sudeste, which is the teams from the south and the southern hemisphere of Brazil and southern coast of Brazil are going to play in this tournament that mirrors the northern tournaments that happen throughout the season in Brazil for the northern part of the country. So now, with all of these changes, the Brasileirão actually starts in January. So the Brasileirão will run from January 28th to December 2nd. So this is a big change. This is a very big change, because that means that the state tournaments will start on the 11th, and 2 weeks after that, the Brasileirão is go. Remember, the Brasileirão used to start in late March, April, early April. So now it starts 3 months early, 2.5 months early. So John Textor can no longer use the excuse that our season only starts in April, because guess what? It starts in January now. So the Brasileirão will start in January. The Serie B will start in March. The Serie C will start in April. And also the Serie D will start in April. The Copa do Brasil will start in February and end after the Brasileirão. So they'll be nice and spread out. The Brasileirão matches will be nice and spread out as well. And I think they're trying to do that to make sure that the Brasileirão match is only once a week. There's no 2 Brasileirão matches in a week at times. That is terrible for the competition. So this is good. This is a very good change. So if you don't understand what I'm talking about, this is a great change. The Brasileirão starting in January, so it's basically 1 match a week until the end of the year. It's great news. Great news. And the only other, changes will be when a team is in Libertadores or the Copa do Brasil, you're going to have those matches in the middle, but 1 Brasileirão a week is great. The cup that's going to involve the southern and the eastern coast is going to take place from March 25th until June. So it's March till June is that cup. The state cups will be from January to March. So there will be a few days, here and there, that teams will have a break. So it's going to be very important to have a very deep in a squad with a lot of players, quality players. So you are able. Now, if you are in the Libertadores, I believe, or the Sul-Americana, if you play on those 2 competitions, you are automatically disqualified for this new cup, which is a good thing. So if you play the Libertadores or you play the Sul-Americana, you do not have to play this cup. Another team will play this cup, which gives teams from the Serie B, C, and D a chance to stay active throughout the year as well, because some of those teams, their calendar would start in April or May and end in September or August. So now these teams also get dates stretched out. They'll have more matches. They're going to be almost year-round, just like the other teams. Obviously, only the Serie A teams are going to be year-round because the other tournaments start much later. But This is good. So if Botafogo qualifies for the Libertadores or the Sul-Americana, we will not play this new cup. I think it was mostly Serie B, Serie C teams, and like 2 or 3 Serie A teams in this cup, which, granted, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. The Brazilian Super Cup will happen 4 days before the Brasileirão starts. So these are all very, very good changes. The Copa do Brasil will have a final of only one match. The semifinal and final will happen in one match only at a neutral site. So there's no home and away right now. So I think it has shortened the calendar in matches by a total of 10 to 11 matches, which is, it's good. It's putting the Brazilian championship of Brazil as a whole on par with Europe, more or less on par with Europe. It's still more matches in Europe, but not by much. Maybe 2, maybe 3 matches, but I think it's going to be more or less on par with the European tournaments, which is great news, not only for players, it's great news for fans as well, because you get a better product. You get a better quality product. You won't see these players dragging, and you have to spend the money to go watch them, and they're underperforming. So this is all very good news. Botafogo and Internacional will play this Saturday, and I believe that happens at 4:30 p.m. U.S. Central Time. Let me just double check. They will play on the 4th at 4:30. I was going to do a live stream on Friday, but I think I might actually just move the stream to Saturday, and we'll do a post-match stream talking about Botafogo and talking about everything else that's been going on. Again, these changes happening are great. It saved Botafogo from a disastrous 2026 year. And we will talk more about this weekend. Definitely talk about the game and anything new that happens.